Mzwandile, a question. I can't tell you how many people have asked me why Malcolm Marx isn't starting, especially after the injury to Bongi. Can you maybe just shed some light for the public?
Yeah, we had a massive debate before we selected the team on Marx, and Marx last week had a great game, man of the match. 4-10 was in the game. It was his special day, 50th game, and he did very well, and he was massive in our game. But once again, we know what Malcolm Marx has done for us in the past as part of the bomb squad. So if you look at the combinations that we've got in the team, we know Malcolm Marx, the way he kicks off, and Vincent Koch, they've done it many times as a combination, and Oaks getting an opportunity also to start at loose at prop. So I think for us it was a matter of just combinations, because if you look at Oaks and Joseph Weber, they've been playing together since the age of 19, from school, and they played at the Cheetahs. So I think for us as a coaching staff, it made sense that to select the best combinations. So that's the only reason that he's starting ahead of Malcolm Marx. But once again, Malcolm Marx is massive in our system, and our players, they understand our vision and the goal as a coaching staff, because of sometimes we do give them a choice who wants to start, who wants to play off the bench. So some of the players, they prefer to celebrate when the game is finished on the field. Some players don't enjoy to finish on the seats. So that's the only reason. It's just because of the good combinations between the team that is starting. Frans van Leeuwen can fit in with everyone. That's why they call him Pat Spence.
Just your thoughts on the debate around the aerial tactics this week. Do you think it's been made an issue out of nothing?
It's fine. I thought we were playing bottom up. So it was funny actually. Now all of a sudden, aerial skills and the contestable kicking game, it's a problem in the game. We've always played like this. We don't hide how we play the game. It's part of our DNA, the kicking game. And like you saw, a lot of people last week, they were questioning the size of Tedley Arends, and then you saw how massive he was when it comes how we wanted to play the game. And even Makazole Mapimbi was, I think, probably one of the best games that I've ever got involved in when it comes to the contestable kicking game. So for us, it's part of our DNA. We won't change anything. Unfortunately, with the situation that happened in the last one, where Tedley Arends got a red card, where a player was contesting nicely throughout the whole game, he was just got a bad timing on the last one, and the player got punished by getting a red card and he's suspended. I know one thing for sure, it wasn't his intention, and that's not how we coach. We don't coach to cause injuries, We always coach by the law, by the book, So it was just unfortunate, and I know one thing for sure, Tedley Arends did apologize to Bernard Barrett, and we always try to play in a good spirit, and there's a massive respect between the two teams, the All Blacks and the Springboks. So once again, it was a just unfortunate situation, but I was happy with the performance of all around with the whole team, when it comes to how we wanted to execute our plan. And I think it worked well on the day for us.
Yeah, and just for you, how big of a challenge is it to back up that performance from last week? And what do you expect different, given Ellis Park being a bit drier and the ball not being that slippery on the field?
We thought about it happened the game one and we celebrated, and with a team like this, you can't dwell on that for too long, because we know the kind of players they have. They can turn around. It takes one moment, one special moment, and they're on top of you. So on Sunday already, Chalke sent these clips. We do King game on Monday, so we're already watching the clips, getting ready. We watch the game together on Monday again. And there's still so much more room to improve, and as you said, it's a little bit wet in Bombela, and Ellis Park is very dry, which plays into their hand. They want they want to run. They'll be able to run from anywhere, like they did in Bombela. But it's not going to change what we're going to do. As coach said, we're still going to stick to our kicking game, which has been working for us. We want to contest in the air, if not on the ground. But yeah, we're looking forward to a proper contest. And I think, both benches are going to be important with a dry stadium like that, and with a lot of running rugby. you're gonna need guys who are gonna come on and bring on more energy in the game.
Coach, we spoke just now about Malcolm. One of the things in the first half was how effective Malcolm was at taking the rhythm out of the All Blacks attacks. You know, the few times that they did get in your half, it's just that they couldn't get anywhere. How do you see that gap being filled? Are there guys that have to just do better than normal, or you know, that void? How do you see that being filled?
Yeah, I know Malcolm Marx is one of those specialist fetchers, he specializes very well with the breakdown, but also on the other side, you're gaining another experienced player, which is Dwayne Fairmouth. We know what he can do also on the breakdowns. So I don't think we're going to lose that much when it comes to starting the game. And once again, where the All Blacks are also dangerous is at back end of the game, where they normally want to put teams away. So it's also vital for us to make sure that, yes, we do have guys that can slow that rhythm also later in the game, So as you saw last week, Malcolm Marx had a proper performance, giving us those penalties on the breakdowns. I think it will also be vital, like Sia said now, we know the All Blacks will probably try to keep the ball in hand, more especially in the later stage in the second half. So once again, Malcolm will add value also off the bench. He has done it for us many times before. So I don't think it's going to be a massive change. I think it's fair for us also, a guy like Dwebo who's been with us in our system, and we know what he can do sometimes with ball in hand also. He's a bit dangerous player. He's got good running skills, so and he's very physical also. So yeah, we're losing another fetcher on the starting lineup, but on the other side, we're also gaining one with Glenn being in the team.
Captain, just the loose trio. It's the first time that World Championship loose trio is starting together since the World Cup final. How are you feeling about the reunion? Has anything changed? And what are you guys going to bring this Saturday? Do you feel this is the right time to come together as that loose trio with Dwayne and Peter Steph, as well as Plastic? If you can also add to that in terms of what you expect. What are the instructions 3 years on from what they did in Yokohama?
I actually didn't know. I thought we had played together because I played with PT during the Lions and Dwayne. I played with him. Obviously, he got hurt then. Dwayne was injured then. But yeah, we found out earlier in the week, I think, but nothing has changed for us. It's the same instructions as we got, or the same game plan as we did during the World Cup, and we expect the same from each other. I'm looking forward to doing it, but it doesn't matter who I'm playing with. I have to deliver the same, and I have to make sure that my job doesn't change by any chance. But having someone like Dwayne back in the team with that kind of experience, and it's an important game against an All Black team. I always need as many brains, as much experience as I can have around me on the field, and obviously PT is back. It felt like he wasn't even injured the way he's going on in the field. It's always good to have him back. So I'm looking forward to for Dwayne, because he hasn't played a lot, so I'm keen to see what he can do, because I know he doesn't need a lot of games to get back in the game. He's one of those guys. They're just some rugby players who don't need to go home and play in the club and then come back. Some guys can just do it. Someone like PT2, where Coach Siku told me I need a couple of games. I'll need to play like 5 games before I get my game right. But I'm looking forward to see what the guys can do. It's a big game, So I think they'll be ready.
Yeah, I think we are in a good position as a team, to have an experience and a lot of leadership amongst that loose trio board, and having Dwayne back in the team. Once again, a guy like Jasper Wiese, I think he grabbed this opportunity with both hands. He's been massive in our team, working very hard and also having a massive impact in the game. But once again, having an experienced guy like Dwayne coming back from the injury, where it's a big game against the All Blacks, Dwayne has done it for us before, that we mentioned the last time they played as a combination in Yokohama, So I think we are in a fortunate position as a coaching staff, and I think the stress that we do have now at the moment, I think it's a good stress. in a sense of there's a lot of competition amongst those positions. And I'm happy also to see Dwayne coming back, because he's been massive in our system. Like Sia mentioned earlier on, his leadership skills and the calmness that he brings on the field. I think the timing of him coming back against the All Blacks, I think it's a perfect timing for us as coaching staff.
Sia, Skip. I just want to, firstly, very lightheartedly, you guys are just ticking off these wonderful records and accomplishments. If you beat New Zealand on Saturday, it's 3 in a row, which is, I think, only the second team in the professional era that has done that. Do you guys have like a little checkboard that you tick off on? And then secondly, and more importantly, how are you now entering one of the great Bok teams of all time? You're going to emulate, obviously, probably, hopefully, 2009's team. How do you do that on Saturday, beating the All Blacks?
No, we don't have a checkbox. We just take it game by game as a team because we don't want to be thinking so far ahead. And obviously, the coaches have plans. Like we said, the coach want to see they're planning for the World Cup. They want to see every single guy in the team. So the team changes every now and then. The plans that have been made, and becoming the best team. Or one of the best Bok teams. I mean, that will be a great thing. But we all we can control is about how hard we work and how hard we play on Saturday. So we definitely want to win. It's important to us. First of all, to play well and hopefully win. None of us have ever been in this situation. I don't think the coaching staff and the players. And we want to make sure we give it everything we can on Saturday.
Coach, this side. Obviously, you guys don't really look too far ahead. Obviously the All Blacks this weekend is the big one. But heading off on a tricky, 3 away game tour, 2 in Australia, 1 in Argentina, and with your record in Australia not being that great, how important, is it this weekend to, put in a big performance, get a win to take that momentum into the next 3 games of the Rugby Championship, which are on the road?
Yeah, I think for us it's a progress in what we do and how we want to play the game, and you can't ask for a better position than to play back-to-back games against the All Blacks at home. We're probably the first team to be able, in my lifetime, to remember. I think we're the first team to play against the All Blacks back-to-back in South Africa. I think it's very important for us to make sure that we start well. So this coming game also tomorrow, it's a massive challenge for us, and it will be great. It will be great for the team. The progress of where we want to go to, and we know the challenge that lies ahead when it comes to us going on top. But we don't want to look that far. I think the biggest thing for us is the game tomorrow, and we know how massive it is to play against the All Blacks, and the venue also. I think it's a historical place between the two teams. I remember as a youngster back in 1995. I will never forget the image that I saw back in those days with Tati Madiba and Joe Stransky kicking those drop goals. So for us to be able now to be in the same venue, which is between us and the All Blacks, you can't ask for any better venue than Ellis Park. Mbombela was special. I think the vibe there, the people, it's probably one of the best I've ever experienced. In Nelspruit, it was very special. But we're just in a fortunate position at the moment to be able to play back-to-back at home against the All Blacks. It's always tough to play against them, but once again, we don't want to look too far and focus on what we're going to do on tour. The most important thing for us is to make sure that we keep building by also trying to perform tomorrow, and hopefully the scoreboard will be on our side.
Good stick. First of all, Young from ENC News. I know the captain doesn't want to hear my voice, but I have to ask a question though. Coach Stick, the one quote I took out of your conference ahead of the Mbombela test was, you said if you lose your focus for 1 second, this New Zealand side can punish you. Is that still the thinking of the Springboks heading to the second clash, knowing that you beat them convincingly in Mbombela? Can you just add something to the whole Joseph Dorito issue? Is it not a case of Jacques Mina with you guys' management throwing him in the deep end against a team like New Zealand? And Sia, I was going to ask you this question. Away from your team, I know you want to focus on your team and your team only, Something significant happened this morning here in front of the hotel. You guys took a team photo with the women's team. What is your message to the women's team? They're playing against Spain. And what do you say to your fans? Would you want them to come out and support the women's team as well, please?
Welcome back, Percy. Good to see you, man. Percy, yeah, like I've mentioned, All Blacks are a world-class side, you know. It takes a good performance to beat them. People, they look at the results at the moment and think the All Blacks are a bad team. You know, it took Ireland for them to play their probably best possible games they've ever played to be able to beat the All Blacks in New Zealand. Same goes with us. I think that was one of the best performances in my experience since Yokohama against England. The way we executed our plan, you know, and the way the guys were playing for 80 minutes in the game where we kept on fighting, you know, and you saw a bit of when they scored their try. It was from their half, you know, where one of our players, I think two of our players were we switch off a bit and we miss the tackles. And that's what the All Blacks can do to you on a day. If you switch off, they will punish you because of they've got world-class players. Having Mahunga now in that team to start will even make them more dangerous, you know. So once again, All Blacks are not a bad side, you know. It takes the Springbok team to be able to play their best game to beat the All Blacks, you know. So once again, for us, it's a massive challenge, and we know tomorrow if we're going to win the game, we're going to have to play probably again another and top up the best performance that we had last week, you know. So once again, they've got world-class players. There's a massive respect between the two teams, you know, Percy. And for me, I'm just also happy in the fact that in our squad, if you look at our squad now at the moment, we've got a lot of great leaders in that squad. If you look at the captains that we've got, see, I mentioned Dwayne, see, as a captain from the Sharks, we've got guys like Lucanio, the experience that we've got, Stephen Kitsoff, Thomas captain. I think we are in a good position, and our guys, I think they're taking a full responsibility on how to manage the game because of, once again, if you go back to Wales, we started slow, do you understand, when we played it Loftus, but I think the guys now at the moment, we're starting to gel in now as a team, you know, and it's good to see us that at least we can contribute in our country where we make our supporters happy. So I'm very happy and looking forward to the challenge tomorrow. And once again, congratulations to Frans Malherbe, who's going to have also a massive milestone, 50th game, you know, someone who's been, a lot of people don't say much about him, but he's one of the guys that I've got a soft spot for him, you know, because of tight heads, the amount of job they're doing on the field, you know, when it comes to the scrums, you know, when it comes to the mauls, when it comes to the lineouts, when it comes to the breakdowns, a lot of people don't realize the value that he adds in our team. So once again, congratulations to him, and I'm very, very proud of him, and I've got massive respect for him. Did I answer everything?
You don't think you guys are throwing Joseph into the deep end again?
Okay, Joseph Dweba. There's no player in that squad, Percy, that squad of 42. There's no player that doesn't deserve to be in that squad. A lot of those guys, they've earned their stripes in that team. So Joseph Dweba is experienced. He went to play in France. You saw when he was playing for the Cheetahs, he was one of the big names in that team. Now coming back to the Stormers, which is I'm also very happy for him. Probably, where we can also have a bit of a control of where we can manage it. You know, so I don't think it's a deep end. He's a big boy. He's tough, and I'm excited actually. You know, so it's not a matter of us being nervous about him. We're not nervous at all, and we've got a massive belief that Joseph Dweba will pitch up tomorrow, and Joseph Dweba will perform. There's no pressure at all. We've got a good team, you know, and he trusts the people around him. So I don't think he's in a deep end. I know one thing for sure: he can swim.
Coach Stick,
I think Sia must answer. We don't want to fight with pace here.
It was beautiful what happened this morning. I was taking pictures with the ladies, and I've been a big supporter of them for a very long time. And I go to the games, I go chat to them, talk to them on social media. I try and post about them as much as I can because I really believe they work as hard as we do, if not harder. And and we know just in general, women in sport don't like in this. The female sports stars don't really get as much as we do, and I think it's up to us as men to make sure that we celebrate them ourselves and we talk about them and to see them and how hard they've had to work and where they came from, with their competition starting. And every year they're just getting better and better, our women's team. And now we've got some of them who are playing international teams, some are playing Saracens, Exeter, and they just won against Japan, who beat Australia, and that's something that don't feel like it's celebrated enough. It's a big thing, not just for them, for us as a country, because now you don't only have young boys, from anywhere in the country that can say they can, they can make it, and now it's young girls too who can dream so big. So to see them and spend time with them was really amazing, and yeah, I'm proud of them. And people should come out earlier. Start your braais. You can start braaiing it. You have a reason now to start braaiing earlier, and have a few cold ones a little bit earlier, because the women are playing. They're playing at 1 o'clock against Spain, and I think it's going to be an amazing game, and we keep on supporting them and continue to support them, because they do need it as much as we do. At the end of the day, they're representing all of us.
Coach, yeah, Mike. The All Blacks have made quite a significant change at 10. Does the dynamic change at all as far as defence is concerned? And then just what does Richie Mo'unga bring to the table that's possibly unique compared to Bowden?
Sure. We know he's a world-class player. We've got a massive respect for him and his team, and we know what he has achieved for Crusaders, as a player, winning Super Rugby, I don't know for how many years in a row. He's a big player for them, and I don't think they're losing much on having him to start. They're actually gaining more because of he's a very, very tough customer. He can mix his game around very well when it comes between running and also using the kicks to get into space. So we know tomorrow it's going to be a different challenge having him there. Barrett also did well. He's world class. We've got respect also for him, but I think Mo'unga will bring something different. So we spoke about him, and we know how dangerous it is. And once again, to play against the All Blacks, like I said last week, Percy mentioned it, that you can't just not switch off. You can't switch off when you play against them. You have to be at your best for 80 minutes. The moment you switch off, they've got proper world-class players there that can punish you. So once again, it's going to be a tough game, but I think these are the moments we live for. It's a very, very special moment, and it's also sometimes, I have to be honest about it, it's also good for us as South Africans, to produce the results, to keep our people happy, to keep our supporters happy, because of we've been through tough time as a team. If you look back around 2016 when I started getting involved with the team, 2017, we've been through tough times. A lot of these players I know, they've went through that process also, where they're going through tough times. To be able to see those players now growing as human beings and as brothers also, so it's something that I enjoy to see. Looking at a guy like Sia from Sweden, he showed, listen, life is all about opportunities. He was given an opportunity to lead a team, and I think it's something that Sia can be proud of. And also the guys around our team. I think we are in a good space as a nation. I think we are in a good space as a Springbok team, and like Sia mentioned again, I think South African rugby in general, we are in a good space. If you see what the big sporters have achieved, and you look at the ladies now to be able to beat Japan away from home, that is massive. The junior teams are also performing very well. So I think I'm very, very proud to be South African where I am, and it's good to see that we can contribute in the country as a team.
Sia, you spoke last week about the motivation.
You asked last week about the size between Ketley and Caleb Clark. Do you still want to ask the question?
No, I think it was a brilliant question. Sia, last week we spoke about not having beaten the All Blacks since 2014 in South Africa, and you were quite clear that that's a big motivational factor. There's obviously this whole issue that you guys have to be talking game by game and so on, but is there something similar to that? You mentioned first time at home since 2014. What is that driving factor, similar driving factor that you guys are emphasizing internally as a team this week?
No, I don't think I'll share that. I'll keep that for us, but we are motivated for the game, I can tell you that, but because Coach said it earlier, that we've never been in this situation before, where we can, win 2 games in a row. and yeah, it's something that we, and also for the competition, you know, it will put us in a good position going to Australia, like Coach said, you know, because we want to make sure we're building momentum as we're going forward, not only for now, going to next year as well. And yeah, every game, like I always say, that it's important for us. And this one at Ellis Park, you know, and yeah, there's a lot of us who've actually never played here against the All Blacks. So we're looking forward to. There's a lot of motivation behind it, but we want to be part of the group that we're able to win in South Africa back to back. Because I don't know if we'll get the opportunity again.